So guys, David Blough didn't just bring a new playbook to Washington, he brought a system straight from one of the most explosive offenses we've seen the last few years. And that offense alone is already lining up a couple legit breakout candidates that nobody's really talking about yet. And it's not just offense, defense is going through its own transformation right now too. Some of these names might genuinely surprise you, and by the end, you'll see exactly why this new era changes everything for them. Let's get into it. What's up, Commanders Nation? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Commanders. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So look, before I even get into who's about to pop off this year, you should understand where this whole offensive identity is actually coming from, because it's not random. David Blough spent time around Ben Johnson back when Johnson was calling plays and turning that Detroit offense into an absolute machine. We all watched that unit go from good to top 5 to literally number 1 in the league in points per game and success rate. And then Johnson takes that same identity to Chicago, and even with a rookie transition and some growing pains, it's still a top 10 offense in this league last year. So when I say Blough is bringing that DNA to Washington, I'm not exaggerating. I mean, he is genuinely building this thing off the same foundation that's already been proven to work at the highest level. And here's what that actually looks like on the field. More under center football, especially on early downs. Now that doesn't mean Jayden Daniels is never in shotgun again, don't get it twisted, but it means this offense is going to be way more multiple than what we saw before. Honestly, I think everybody from Dan Quinn to Blough to Jayden Daniels himself has basically admitted this offense got a little one-dimensional last year. Being under center opens up so much more, better angles in the run game, more duo, more outside zone, stuff you just can't run as cleanly out of shotgun where the angles are more condensed. And when you're under center, the play action game hits different too, because now the defense actually has to respect the run, first linebackers bite on the fake. And that's exactly when you attack that intermediate level of the field with your play action shots. Now I will say this, it might take Jayden Daniels a little bit of time to fully settle into this. We saw the same thing with Caleb Williams last year, a college quarterback who never really played much under center, suddenly having to relearn footwork and timing in a pro-style scheme. That transition isn't always instant. But if Jayden adjusts the way I think he will, and honestly given how much this coaching staff talks about his football IQ and his mental quickness, I expect him to get really comfortable with pre-snap control. Getting to the line, diagnosing the defense, and getting into the right play consistently. That's when this offense stops being a work in progress and starts becoming something teams genuinely fear game planning against. Okay, so with all that context, let's actually get into the guys who stand to benefit the most from this shift, because this is where it gets exciting. First up, Jacory Croskey-Merritt. This dude quietly put together an 805-yard rushing season as a rookie, coming in as a 7th-round pick, by the way, 8 touchdowns, 6 yards a carry, and he did all of that on only 75 carries, which ranked 26th in the league among running backs. Now think about that for a second. A guy with way fewer carries than the lead backs around the league is still producing at that kind of clip, and now you're telling me he's stepping into a scheme that's literally built for downhill decisive running. More under center, more duo, more outside zone. I genuinely think Jacory has a real path to 200-plus carries this year. And if his per carry average even holds steady with that added volume, you're talking about a back knocking on the door of a top 20 rushing season in this league. Add in the receiving piece too, because last year he was only targeted 13 times total, which is nothing. If that number even doubles to something like 26 targets, which honestly isn't even that high by today's running back standards, you're looking at a guy who could realistically put up 1,000 yards from scrimmage and double-digit touchdowns. And I want you to understand how rare that actually is. Only 7 running backs hit that exact stat line last season across the entire league. We're talking names like Jonathan Taylor and Jahmyr Gibbs. If Jacory gets anywhere near that kind of company, that is a legitimate certified breakout season. Next, Antonio Williams. I know the reaction to this pick when it happened wasn't exactly thunderous. A lot of fans wanted a big-bodied outside receiver and instead got a slot guy out of Clemson. But the more tape people watch, the more the temperature around this pick has shifted. This kid caught 207 passes in college, over 2,300 yards, 21 touchdowns, and his separation quickness and run after catch ability were genuinely praised across the board coming out of school. He's already running with the first team this offseason, which matters a lot with his coaching staff because they simply don't hand out reps. Guys have to earn them through the work. Now, for a real breakout season out of a 3rd-round rookie receiver, I'm not asking Antonio to break any records. I'm talking somewhere around 40 catches, 650 yards, 4 touchdowns. That might sound modest on the surface, but that exact line has only been hit by 6 3rd-round rookie receivers in the history of this league. Terry McLaurin himself, in his own rookie year, actually beat that mark with 58 catches, 919 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So, if Antonio gets anywhere close to that kind of production behind Terry McLaurin, with Van Jefferson also in the mix for that number 2 role, that is absolutely a breakout year for a rookie slot receiver in this league. And then there's Josh Conerly Jr., and this one's a little different because he's not a fantasy name, but trust me, he affects your fantasy results either way. Last year as a rookie tackle, he ranked 24th among tackles league-wide in total pass blocking snaps, But the efficiency numbers were rough: 6th most sacks allowed, 9th most hurries. Tied for 11th most combined pressures in the entire league. Now here's the thing, that was a rookie season in a scheme that, by pretty much everyone's admission, had become predictable and easy to defend. This year, with a scheme that actually manipulates the defense, more motion, more disguise, more misdirection, I think Josh has a real path to cleaning those numbers up significantly. If he can get under 3 sacks allowed, 4 quarterback hits, and 24 pressures for the entire season, that's a legitimate leap for a second-year tackle, especially considering the gauntlet of elite edge rushers he's got lined up on the schedule this year. Now let's flip over to defense, because this side of the ball is getting its own transformation right now under Daronte Jones. Sonny Styles is probably the most obvious name on this list, first-round pick, 7th overall, and the tools are just different from what we typically see. Elite size, elite range, elite coverage instincts for the position, and he's already earning first-team reps under a coaching staff that does not just hand those out to anybody. In Daronte Jones' more pressure-heavy defensive system, I expect Sonny to line up more as a traditional off-ball linebacker with some rush opportunities mixed in situationally. For a rookie breakout, I want to see him become just the 14th linebacker in NFL history to play 90% or more of his team's defensive snaps as a rookie, and I want to see somewhere around 90 tackles to go along with that. If he does that while making real, impactful plays in coverage and against the run, that is a breakout rookie season, no question about it. Then you've got Jer'Zhan Newton, and honestly, this might be my favorite non-rookie pick on the entire list. Last year, he only played under 40% of defensive snaps, but he still put up 38 tackles and 5 sacks in that limited role. His missed tackle rate was 14th best in the entire league among interior defensive linemen, and get this, his pass rush productivity score last season was actually higher than Chris Jones's, and Chris Jones gets way more national attention and way more snaps than Jer'Zhan ever got. The reason that matters so much is because Daronte Jones' new scheme is designed specifically to create way more one-on-one pass rush opportunities up front for guys like him, which is exactly the kind of situation Jer'Zhan has always thrived in. If he can get to around 6 sacks or more this year while keeping that missed tackle rate low, that's a real tangible breakout for an interior defensive lineman who's finally getting freed up to do what he does best. And finally, Trey Amos. His rookie year got cut short in Game 10 with a fractured fibula, but before that injury, and honestly even more specifically before Dorance Armstrong went down with his own injury, Trey was playing really well out there. 3rd highest forced incompletion percentage in the entire league, 6th in yards surrendered, 12th in passes broken up, all as a true rookie corner. He was the only rookie corner at that point in the season playing that kind of significant snap count and producing at that level. Once Dorance Armstrong got hurt, everything on that defense took a hit, and you could see it directly reflected in Trey's own numbers too. Completion percentage against him spiked noticeably, and he gave up a touchdown during that stretch. That tells you just how much losing Dorance Armstrong actually mattered to this entire defensive unit, not just the pass rush up front. Now with Trey healthy again, more experience under his belt, and a full off-season to learn this new system, I think he's got a real legitimate shot at getting back into that top 15 range in coverage production league-wide. Maybe even flirting with top 10 if he stays healthy and finally gets that first career interception everybody's been waiting on him to get. So put it all together, a running back closing in on 200 carries, a rookie receiver already earning trust from the coaching staff, a second-year tackle who could stabilize the offensive line, a rookie linebacker on pace for 90 tackles, a defensive tackle outproducing bigger names with fewer snaps, and a corner who is trending toward elite before injury cut his season short. This is one of the most underrated breakout groups in the league. And if even half of these guys hit their marks, this Commanders team looks completely different by season's end, and this new era under Blough and Daronte Jones will have proven itself right away.